Should have a few more people showing up. Got a few minutes. I muted you all. Sorry, I can yeah. If you guys want to unmute yourself and say something, that's fine. I had to mute. There's so many people, and you get a lot of background noise, so I can't even hear myself think. So that's part of painting. You got to be able to think while you paint. So we got a few more minutes here before I'll get started in things. But I can show you this painting behind me. This is one I just completed this week, in fact. Just needed a few glazes to fix it up and things. This is my buddy Fenrir out swimming up at our cottage. It took about 2 days to paint. A lot of mixing, a lot of orange in this one. But that's the way it goes with gold. Is you got to use, going to be a lot of orange in them and things like that. So okay, 9:30. Guess we can get going. So again, this is a Fenrir. Today, what we're going to be doing is going through. Let me put this away before I don't hurt it. Okay. In this is just a trial class. If you can paint along with me, if you can, that's fine. If you can't, this will be recorded also, and you can play it again later. Right now, I'm just shooting it up to YouTube, so I'll send you a link to that, and you can just watch it there. What we'll be doing, I'll be going through my process of how I paint and how I really look at things. Today we'll be painting again a water shaker. My buddy here, Fenrir, shaking off his water. Doesn't look like much of a painting when you first look at it. The photo translating into a painting, but after a while you start to catch what a photo could be. I paint with a lot of photos throughout my career, and I was an illustrator before I became a fine artist. And working with photos is what we had to do, and what I did. So I'm really used to using them and taking a photo and fixing it up to make sure it works for a painting. There's a few things you got to do. You got to make sure your lights aren't too bright. Got to make sure your darks, you can see some color in your darks, things like that. So I do a lot of little Photoshop things to these things before I paint. And that's about it. Let me get going here. We got a few people showing up. There'll be a few more showing up here and there. Let me pull it up. I'm going to pull up the photo we're going to be working with. And this is how I go about these paintings. This class, I'll be pulling up the photo we'll be working with. And we'll be going through it, trying to understand it, get used to it before we go ahead and start our next section. So here we go. This is Fenrir. Everybody knows who Fenrir is, right? He's the giant wolf that ate Odin in Ragnarok. I tell you, every time he brings the ball back, I throw the ball out there, I'll bring it back. And every time he does that, he has to do a shake himself off. And so I get tons and tons of these shots. This one, I painted a few before, but this one was kind of nice. I thought it was kind of unique. One of the things with a shake like this, what do you want to capture is this stuff up here too. You want to be able to get this stuff to read the spray. And so you need a dark background, you need a certain light coming at it to pop those little sparkles out. And the interesting thing about those sparkles is going to be how we put them in at the end. It's one of the things about this stuff. A lot of stuff goes in at the end. It doesn't, it's a build. A painting is a build, so it's going to be going. We're going to be working from the darks to the lights, and then So the lights are really what bring the painting to life, and you start to really see things happening. So a lot of that, that little sparkles and stuff always will be going in at the end. You put them in too soon, and it's a mess. So you always put those guys in there. So that's a little thing to think about. Okay, let's go. Let me blow them up a little bit more. Well, not going to let me do it. Thanks, Zoom. All right, design wise, yeah, right here. Right here is this 1/3, 2/3. This is as long as it's underneath 1/3, I'm always good. 1/3, 2/3 of a painting. You want your focus on, one of these sides of the painting. You don't really want too many things in the middle. Of course, it's different when what you're going to be focusing on is outside the area. So we're going to take him and probably trim off a little bit of area here on the sides too. We're going to take off a little bit of area, slide him over a little bit more so he's not directly in the middle. But I want to give you guys the full photo to see what we have to do. So, okay, the nice thing, okay, calm water down here. We'll be painting very calmly there. And then with him, the idea about him is to really see how it's working, how this twist is working and how it all comes to that area. So even with the water spray around it, how that all is all encompassing, it's really working towards that final little face thing. And then, like I said, if we move it slightly off center here, we'll be fine design wise. The ball's a nice touch. I'll be keeping that. Trying to get these little ripples of wave going on around here. Those are really great transitions between quiet water and craziness. Always you got to have a little bit of chaos in your paintings to keep them exciting. And with water dogs like this, there's a lot of chaos. It can be very easily. So it's just does itself, works itself out. Well, let's see. And color wise, yeah, it's pretty interesting. We got a nice gradation of greens back in here. We got a nice reflection going down in here. We don't have to be really, this is the photo, but we're making a painting. This shape down here, we don't have to live with. We don't have to, be bound by it. We can do things design wise to make it better, and that's what we're going to be looking at as we go, seeing what can be done to make this better. And even in a photo, we could still pull out things. There's going to be little things like this in here where we can pull out a foot, out of that area, or you might even see it down here. Maybe that's a foot too. In these reflections underneath things, that's a lot of layering. That's the one thing about that kind of water, that still water up front. You're going to catch the flatness of the top of the water, but then you're going to see the translucency of seeing things underneath and inside. And then that reflection is just a pain in the butt, but we're going to have to we can work with it and make it work for ourselves, as long as it doesn't become a problem. If it ever becomes a problem, this is oils. And the great thing about oils is we can do whatever we want here. We can, we have time to do things. We have time to make adjustments. We got time to, this down here, doesn't even have to be there. Doesn't even have to be there. I still think the foot down there would probably be one of the better things to keep in there. Otherwise, Everything else is really good. I think it's going to work out pretty well. He stands out very nicely behind this dark area. Uh, and it's kind of exciting. You can just see his ear flopping here. Uh, let's see, you can see, you don't see much of eyes, and his nose is very dark. He's a young dog. He's only like 3 years old, so he doesn't have a lot of age in his nose yet. Dogs, as they age, the nose gets, you can tell by the age of dogs, just because their nose gets a little redder as it goes up. They lose that black, nose. Okay, otherwise, this is kind of fun. I did like this too, his tail back here. He really carries his tail pretty high and stuff. This might be a nice little area to bring up, a little bit higher, so you can get a little height. Because this feels a little squatty, and it could be up there. It probably was, it would be up there anyway. So it wouldn't be hard to extend this up here and stuff. A lot of times this stuff just comes naturally too, in the drawing and laying it out. So I think that looks better. I like that, and maybe even slide it over here much more. Do whatever I can to, pull this guy off center a little bit. And if nothing else, using the spray to do it and the wash here to do it. The ball here off to the side, just everything, just a little off kilter, trying to create energy here. Because, this, if you don't do certain things here, little angles into your painting, the painting's going to end up being flat. If you have too many straight horizontals in your painting, just killer things that destroy energy. So that's what we'll be looking at, trying to, embrace some angles and things like that, and into this guy when we get going. That's about it. Let's see. Any questions? I muted everybody because there's so many people watching, and the thing is just a lot of background noise. So I need to mute everybody. But if you wanted to be unmuted, just go ahead. Let me see over here. Okay. All right. Let's go back. I'm going to take everybody over to my palette. This is the next stage. This is like the class runs. I basically go through go through the photo a little bit. Then I go over, we make colors. We mix colors together so everybody has the same color. In these photos, as you can see, I put a little gray bar here, the gradation bar. That's really great to be able to tell you exactly what color I'm mixing up, because no matter how good my lights are or anything else, the video is, that value is the thing that we go for. Right? We really paint towards value. Looking, and this is a little value scale here, tells me exactly what greens are, what value they're going to be, what the value of the painting value background is going to be, how light these highlights are compared to this, like, and that way I can translate that to you, so you know about what color we're going for. One of the things in painting, I was told a long time ago by Dan Gerhardt's, that color, it's more important that we get the right value than we worry about getting the right color. We can get it in the right warmth or temperature, but when we get in the right family of colors, but if you get the right value, it doesn't have to be the perfect color. We're not going to be able to get the perfect color throughout the whole painting. That's just doesn't happen, and we got a photo that already does that, so why would we be doing that? So my idea is to take this thing and translate it into a painting. So we're going to be taking the colors and mixing them up. I mix up pretty much all the colors for the painting. And that's why when I paint, I'm not mixing colors. I know my colors are working. So that way I don't have anything in my head that of you know that that I that shouldn't be there right at that point. I don't need to have any worries or thinking about something else. I want to be concentrating on my painting. That's why I can make great strokes. I know I just made a great stroke instead of thinking about mixing a color. Like the color's not right. I don't worry about that stuff. I know that everything's going to work. So that's one of the things we'll be doing that now. We're going to be going over to the palette. Let me pull it up. And we playing and mixing colors for a little bit. We'll go through everything over my kit over here too. Okay. There we go. All right. As you can see, I have a lot of Rembrandt colors out. I do use Rembrandt a lot, mostly. I am an ambassador from Rembrandt, and so I get these colors. I can tell you right now, painting wise, that these three colors are probably one of the most important things in painting because these cadmium yellows, cadmium light red, and cadmium orange, these guys give the life to the painting. These guys, instead of using white all the time, I'll be using these guys a lot to lighten colors and change tint things. And these guys have really strong tinting power, which is what you want in your cadmium. They are probably the most expensive colors out there too. But if you don't, the thing about them, if you have really good ones, you don't have to use as much. But these guys really are brighter than pretty much anybody else too out there around the market, and that gives you a whole different level of color. So here's my kit. Be going with we got titanium white out today. I use this is cad yellow light. This is cad red light. This is cad orange. I have a little bit of, not much. I have some ochre out, but barely any. It was running out. This color here, this is oxide red light, but you could also have Venetian here, or you could have Terra Rosa. It's kind of like this burnt red color I like to have in this area. Then I have a cool, this is a alizarin crimson. But if you have Rembrandt doesn't have alizarin crimson, they have a rose madder deep I use in place of it. This color here is cobalt blue hue. This is one of the darkest blues on the market for cooler colors, cooler blues. It is a hue, but it is just as good as anything else, a cadmium or anything else. It's just more scientifically made these days. And it will last forever. It's light fast. Next color is phthalo green, blue green, or green blue. Make sure it's green's ahead of it because it is a green. That's a phthalo. And then over here, I just put out some burnt sienna out. I will take moving those. All right. Other things I have big brushes. I have some bristle brushes, nice bristle brushes. You want to have definitely when you do a dog in water, you need some nice strong bristles, but then you also need your nice synthetics. These are some Rosemary's synthetics. These are ivory long flats. Those are really great. These are just from regular bristle brushes, which are going to do a lot of the work. But 3/4 of the work will be done with my big brush. These are just great brushes. It's very cheap. Also, I have a paint eraser just in case I want to pull out some dots and stuff in this guy, which would be really nice to have. Give you a different effect. I'm always looking for different effects in painting. Not looking for the same one everybody else is doing. I want to be able to find something I do. All right, colors. So let me pull up my photo again. Okay, I have a big monitor over that way, but this is a really good printout of it. Then we're just doing a shake off. Okay, I'll be going through my colors, mixing my colors here. This is a pretty simple, it's a very simple way to do a palette, but it just takes a little bit of time. But it will speed up the painting. It's just like doing, you got to get this area done right first before you do this. If you have this palette right for this painting, the painting will take care of itself. You can zoom through a painting pretty quickly. First colors, I'm going to look at the basic color, look over the overtone, look for the values. This value here in the background, I'm trying to match it up over here, and it's pretty dark. It's probably around an 8 on the value scale. You know, I'll go for the 8. I want to go, 9's way too dark. Then look at him and say, yeah, he's about 8 too. So, and then his lightness, you can see it goes up here right around a 5, maybe 4. And then its real lights, right around 3s and 2s. I try to stay away from, I don't use 0 pretty much, because that's like pure white. I don't use pure white. And then, number 1s here have some color in them. You got to really take it easy on those, on anything up to these last 2 levels of color, because they just, if the painting's not built for that high key of a color, those little colors there will just stand out like sore thumbs. So I always try to stay right around 2s for my brightness. Thinking about, okay, mixing some colors. First, I'm gonna break this down. My darkest darks. Look at this. Figure it out. I got some reds in his nose. I got some other colors built off it in his mouth, his eyes, and then the background back here got a lot of greens. So let's go. I'm just start off with the greens first, because the majority of the painting really is about the water and the spray and how he fits into it. So the water, the color is going to be reflected into his fur and everything. So let's get that together. It's a warm color, but I'm going to mix up a few colors here first. I'm going to put out some phthalo green. I put out 2 piles. This is for the background, so I should not be mixing up two small ones. I'm going to be mixing up phthalo green and oxide red light together. You'll make this pile a little bit bigger. I work in piles too, so I'll be mixing up everything in piles. Piles of color. So this first color is just going to be phthalo green and oxide red light. I'm going to make 2 colors. One's going to be on the phthalo green side, which would be the cool side. And then I leave one on the red side, which would be the warm side. So every color I mix up 2 versions of it. So one's going to be on the red side, one's going to definitely be on the green side. It almost feels a little too red, but you can find that in here a little bit. As you can see, yeah, it's going to go through it. Okay, so those are some dark colors. I'm also going to need some other greens in here. Not quite as strong, but I'm going to do some alizarin crimson and phthalo green. One on the red side, which is pretty easy that way. And then this one I'll leave on the green side. So when I pull it down, you can see it's on the green side. And you pull that one down, you can see it on the red side. Okay, next color. Same thing, I'll put out a little more phthalo green. Now I'm going to go for my midtones. And this next color is going to be just cad red light and phthalo green. Yeah, it's going to get it to the value here going in, and right there is pretty close already. It's almost an 8 as it is. Make sure I'm going to make 2 colors again. And if you guys want to ask me questions, you can ask me questions anytime. You just have to unmute yourself. This one's on the red side. I'll just take a little bit of it and add green to it. And just like anything else, I like to get everything off my knife. And you can see that tells me, okay, I'm in really a good spot. These colors right here, these darks, are basically my paint. I'm going to make up a couple other ones. I need to use, like I was talking about, his nose here. That's where I'll use blue. And I'm going to use oxide red light with blue. And to make sure, oxide red light is a strong color. As you can see, just knocked the crap out of that blue. Just took it, turned it right to red. It's a beautiful little red brown at this stage. Becomes a nice, beautiful purple. So I had enough blue on that one to get it. Now I'm gonna add some more red to this thing. Okay, just watch how much. There you go. See, too much. That's good. I don't want them too close together, so I'm going to take and make this one bluer. All right, so this is basically the painting. All the colors I'm going to need for this painting. All I have to do now is draw these guys down a little bit with some light. And, you know, I'll have to mix up a couple colors for extra colors for the dog, but nothing too major. So what I do is I have these piles here. These are my basic darks. I will split these piles, basically split them with my knife and bring them down here. And this is where I will be taking these colors, which are probably a lot darker. These are going to be like, these are like 9s and 10s. These colors are. And I'm going to take these colors and I'll bring them up to an 8. That's by adding just a touch of white to them to pull out the colors. So the colors will start to pop out here. Probably not, yeah. These guys are already pretty close to what I need. I'm going to save a little bit more now. That's pretty easy to make. This is phthalo green and cad red. These guys will be turned into some nice purples. You're going to find them in the water, and you're going to find them a little bit of the dog themselves. So I'm just going to add cad or some titanium white to each one of these guys and bring them up to a value. I say up, but it's really down in the scale. But I always believe, you know, lightness going up. So I'll be adding white to these piles, just enough, you know, to get them to about 8, just a touch more. This was a good mix of green and red here, because you got this gray here. I mean, that's a gray. That's a really nice warm gray. And a lot of these colors won't have a huge place in the painting. But every time you mix up color, you try to remember how you made it. So for later on, when you're painting something else, you know what you're going to go back to. Just a touch more white. Sorry. Bring that there. Same thing with this next color. Now you're going to start seeing colors start to shoot through. This is, again, a phthalo green and mixed with red. Phthalo's still very strong. It just doesn't look quite that much there. This is just a little light on the red side. I'm going to add some more red to it to make sure that there's a good difference between this. Yes.
Jim, the third pile was cad red or alizarin?
This one?
Yeah.
That is alizarin. Yeah, the warmer ones right here, when it starts to warm up right here, those are the cad reds. This right here is alizarin. This is oxide red. These are alizarin. These are cad red. Not going to need that too much of that, but you can find it in these areas down in here. Might work really well. Another thing about this palette I'm building, since I'm going for value paintings, all these values work great together. You can see how I built the colors one next to each other, all built off each other. Really great way to get everything to work. Zorn worked this way, color wise, pretty limited, and then just adjusting things. These guys will also be able to work interchangeable to make extra colors. So these are the cad red ones right here, and the phthalo greens. As you can see, this one has a lot of phthalo green in it. It's going to be in there in a few spots. Maybe not quite that. Maybe I'll have to add a little more red to it here and there. Maybe this red. Yeah. Whoops. Just did. That's how easy it is to add red to it, just by touching it. All right. And then these last two here, I'm going to take those up too. And I say this all the time when I'm mixing these colors. Yeah, I might not think that I'll be using this color in my painting, but I have it, and it only takes a minute to get these guys to play well with the rest. And I always end up using these colors a lot more than I thought I would ever. So mix them up, just mix them up. So I'll go through these colors again in a moment too. So right now I'm just going through the mixes, but this will pretty much take care of the water. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mix one more up here. I'm gonna kind of mix up one more color here. Sorry, and that is going to be. I thought this cad red was going to be a little bit richer than it was with green, but I'm always mix this up anyway. This is just phthalo green and cad orange. You don't have cad orange, you can just use cad yellow and cad red together to make a cad orange pretty much. But yeah, there you go. It's cad orange and phthalo green. That's where I was thinking about that. I go, well, that's going to be really close, but it's not. Okay. Pretty much all the water. I try to keep my number of colors down a little bit. Now everything else is basically just figuring out the dog. The dog isn't going to be too hard either. I'm going to go back. As you can see, I got this nice little red brown here. So I'm going to mix up just a little bit more phthalo green and cad red together. Making it easy. I'm going to mix up a few oranges for this dog. I don't want it to be too plain. But this is on the red side. It's really a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'm going to lighten it up anyway. Also, I want to figure out a couple of the oranges just to have some different ones. So I always like to go with like alizarin and a cad yellow together. Mix up a nice orange. Even if I get some green in here, that's great. I was going to put it in anyway, just to take the edge off it, so it doesn't get too crazy. But as you can see, yeah, that's going to get in there. That working with these guys should be enough to do it. This is pretty much more water color. Probably like that. Thinking if I need more of that. I'm going to split this pile and add some white to it too. There's some other, I'm going to need a lot of colors for reflections. I'll be taking these guys down one step. These guys are going to come down and be the higher key colors anyway in these things. So I'm going to split these guys down. Add a little more white to them. See what happens. A little bit of white, taking them to like a 4 value. That's more like a 5. But you can see where things start to fall out. I'm going to keep that one. I like that one there. This one went a little bit of the brown side, which is okay. And you can see this one stayed really green. That's good. It's okay. Move that over a little bit, give myself just a touch more room. We're also going to just do an ochre and white one too, just for the dog. To start with. This is just ochre and just a little bit of white. You can see really pretty close right off the bat. That's why I only had a little bit of ochre out. Just enough to get. So I don't lean on this as a too much, but it can be a nice color. All right. I'm going to add just a touch of cad red to it too. Just a scraping of cad red to this ochre just to cool it off. There you go. And get in there. All right, that's it. Then bring it down one more step with white. So I go pretty fast, but these things are all recorded. So you can see these colors again and again and mix them up. You know, I know where I'm going. You guys really probably don't yet. If you've never seen me paint, because understand that this is how I go about it. All right, now the higher key colors. This one's starting to get there. These ones need to get there. So I'm going to take just pieces of these colors and add white to them to get them up to like a 2 value. Right around a 2 value, 3, 2, probably a 3, but you know, just add a little enough white. I don't want the white to overpower it. I still want to see the color. See that it has warmth, that, yeah, I can sort of see where it came from. And that's all you have to do. This one definitely needs things. All right. This one, see as you see it. You can keep adding whites to this all day. And it's not really going to go any brighter. Those are really good. All right, a couple specialty colors we're going to need are like the red and the green. So basically, we're going to start off some cad red and just some alizarin together. Start to get to this color, more alizarin. Just a touch more alizarin to it. I'm going to take a piece of this and just make it alizarin. That's much better. Okay. And then the ball itself, you add just a little bit of phthalo green. There's a little red in it already. And just some cad red or cad yellow. See, that's just one god ugly color. But you can start to get there, just a little bit of white and pretty much right there. It's going to steal a little red. Yeah, get rid of that green and get pretty close to it. So, all right. So there's my colors. I'm always going to put out a couple of their high key little colors I need in here. I see that are can come from these guys. But basically, I like to have a pink. I definitely need a yellow, and I need a blue. Wow, just like almost primaries. That's super high key, pretty much up to one is almost deep, but I barely use these guys. So one is in the reds. As you can see, red is so low on the scale. It just pretty much took over. Okay, I'm going to use that color over here. That's just never going to get there. I'm going to use just a piece of this thing pile and get my red in here. Down in here. I'm going to do a blue, just scraping a blue with my white. Oh, sorry. Wipe that off. I hit a spot of mud and left over on my paint palette here. So I just need a light blue, like blue white. And like I said, then a really high key, just a scraping cad yellow and white. High key yellow, high key white together. I'm gonna do one more too because it didn't really turn out. This would be a alizarin pink. That's it. Those are the colors we can go to war with on this painting, and they should work. Okay, I'll go over the colors again. Up here, I start off with phthalo green. I made two colors, one phthalo green and oxide red, light. This is on the red side. This is on the green side. Bringing them down with a little bit of white to about a number 8 on the scale here. So you have a warm version, you have a cooler version. Over here, we did alizarin crimson and phthalo greens coming down. You get on the blue green side, this one a little bit purplier side is on the alizarin side. Over here, you got phthalo green and cad red together coming down. You bring them down, you get these beautiful warm grays. This is on the green side, this is on the red side. Over here, we went blue and cad red, or no, that was oxide red together. And you brought these guys down to about the same value. So you can see, I'll be able to get those guys in here pretty nicely too. Value-wise, you squint, you can see they're pretty close. This one might be just a touch light, but not bad. I also made up a phthalo green and cad orange mix here and brought it down with some white. Here we did a cad, again, up here we did a cad red and phthalo green, just a little bit more on the red side than even that one. And brought it down. You can see how it grayed out and got in here. But those colors are in that guy. And that gives us credence to do a little bit over here about mixing up a brighter orange that's going to bring in some life into these areas here. This is a alizarin crimson and cad red, cad yellow. Here it was just mixed with white and again mixed with white. This color here is just ochre, yellow ochre with white. Then mixing up with more white. Then it ended up with a little bit more white. Here is the specialty colors for the ball. I'll probably find little spots for it here and there, other places. But these are just cad red and alizarin crimson together. And this is cad cad yellow and phthalo green together, which is a touch of red anyway, and a little bit of white into the green. I can use that for the ball if I want.
Jim,
Yeah.
what colors on your palette are you going to use under the chin, so to speak, that dark area that we've got
in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot of warmth. It's going to have a little bit of these greens in it over here, and with this warmer green, probably a little bit of red in there too. These guys are going to kind of just smoosh together. Well, are you already that far? Somebody said, already painting already.
No, I'm not painting. I'm just looking at your palette and looking at the picture and thinking, I see grays and I'm desperate to get out burnt sienna, but I'm restraining myself.
I got burnt sienna right up there, and that's what I was going to tint it with.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. I got the burnt sienna. I got to use it. If I have the color out, I got to use. No, a lot of times these colors are always the same colors I use on every palette. They don't really change, except for sometimes I don't use burnt sienna on every painting, so I don't put it all the time. But I was thinking about tinting wise. And then my last few colors are just really high key, reds, yellows, blues, and that's just for these really final little highlight things that sometimes you need to put in, but they're not really for the speckles. That's the thing, is they're for more the dog itself to make the dog special. All right, those are my colors. That is the part of the battle. The hardest thing is now just painting it. So let's get over there, get it back over to the board, and start painting. Let me move things around here, pull it back up, turn on the screen. All right. Here we go. Hi.
It's Marcia.
Marcia, how you doing?
Great, now that I got on.
Oh, you couldn't get on?
You know what? I'm not technical. Forget about it. I'm on. But I'll have to paint later.
You are always on, Marcia. We all know that.
Drugs. Drugs.
No worries. Oh, another little thing here. I didn't mention, it's also about my kit. I paint with safflower oil, and I clean my brushes with baby oil. I don't use pretty much any solvents in my studio, and I don't use linseed oil. I just can't stand the smell of it. It's rancid and just stinks up your studio. Anyway, this linseed oil does not, or safflower does not smell. That's the great thing about it. It does not smell. All the paint makers have been using safflower oil now for a while too. It's cheaper and it's light fast. It doesn't yellow over time as much as linseed oil does. So anyway, okay. First thing I do when I'm started painting, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I do ask me questions anytime you want while I'm painting and stuff. That's fine. I'm used to that. That's what its classes are for, is for asking questions. I usually pretty much talk in my head to tell you what I'm going to do.
James?
Yes.
Jean Potter here. Do you ever put a ground on your canvas before painting?
No, I never do. I just start painting. No, you beat me to it. No, that's the first. No, you got it. No, I do. That's where this stuff comes in. Yeah, this is just burnt umber or burnt sienna. Just a touch of safflower oil. And my big brush.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. No, that's definitely, I want to get this in here first. Definitely, I hate white. I can't paint against white. The contrast is just too much. Doesn't feel like a painting ever when you have too much white out. So I always just like to tone it and rub it in. I'm working off of linen canvases. Been working off this stuff for a while. This is just stuff these Centurions you get at Jerry's Artorama. But I have to rub everything in. I got to rub the paint in a little bit to get rid of that white. Because if I don't do it, it seems like the paint won't stick right. It'll just kind of creeps on you. And you can see that when I put it on here, how it went on. So doing this just helps get everything going and into the flow. You never know. You get lucky and you do a decent background. And you might be able to, use something like that in the background. You never know. So also, this kind of stuff here just loosens that shoulder up, gets me going a little bit. Thinking about this stuff. Okay. Drawing him in. Usually, like I said, I want to break it down to under 1/3 into thirds and keep that arc here under 1/3. So it's almost 1/4 where I would put my arc in. So just roughing. I think since he's leaning this way, I could probably keep his head right in here, and then keep his body heavier over here. And his tail over here. I think it'll be fine. No, that's enough to pull it off center. Making sure his body's there, and I got a little bit of the splash. I can always push, that splash is kind of nice and stuff, but and it's no good off the painting, so I'll probably pull it back in here, that kind of stuff. Get these things in here. Drawing wise, it's going to take a while. I mean, as I paint and stuff to draw, I'm always drawing while I'm painting. And so I'm making corrections. So that's great. It's perfect for oil, making corrections all the time. So that's why I love the oil. Oil is just so forgiving. Everybody goes, oh, but it's so dirty. It's not dirty. My hands don't have anything on my hands. I always got a paper towel in my hands. I'm always wiping it off. My hands don't get dirty. Anyway, it's art. I want to be able to get my fingers in here. This is part of my best brush, my finger. So, and another thing, oils, cadmiums. You have to eat cadmiums to get cadmium poisoning. So using cadmiums is not a big thing. Unless you're going to eat 17 tubes of cadmium paint in one sitting, you'll get cadmium poisoning. You also get very sick. You're going to be throwing up like crazy. So, cadmiums are really not that big a deal. So I'm just going to roughen his nose. Where his nose is going to go. You see, top of his nose is almost right where his eyeballs go. And the nice thing is, that's one another good reason for this painting here to do today, because of the drawing is not real complicated. I can get away with a lot of little things that, I don't have to be perfect on. At least in front of you guys, I can fix it up later. Oh. Sorry. I can fix things up later. But it'll work. So I'm just, just gonna work out the drawing a little bit on. Yeah, I'm gonna move that tail all the way over here. Just let the fur fly here. Okay, and then the dots here. Da, 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 right? Okay. Yeah, I lost my clamp. That was what keeps the thing from bouncing around the whole time. Grab, reach down, and clamp it up here again. Oh, this thing just make too much noise. Not too worried about that spot. Okay. Drawing wise, close enough for us today. Right now, there'll be like I said, a lot of times it just be drawing the stuff as I paint a lot too, making corrections. But just getting these guys in, just knowing where they're going to go. And with the Goldens, and you know, they're pretty much, well, most dogs, they're pretty much split down the middle, right down, you know, from their nose, that line going down their nose, so they're going down the ridge of their snout to the middle of their forehead and back, and then that's pretty much it. That's where his hair will break. Everything in here is just going to go in this direction. And then we'll have to splash down in here. Well, I could have probably dropped him down probably another, you know, a little bit more, I think. Yeah, let's see. I'll be good now. I got room for the ball right here. Ball will go right about there.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
his
Hey, Claire.
his
Sure.
right ear, is that in that highlight and sticking out, or is it kind of smashed against his head? Because how I paint it will matter. Not his right ear. The one that there's a really strong
this one?
highlight. Yeah,
yeah,
is
that's
that
probably this. That's be right in here. That's going to be this highlight right in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's probably, it's part of that, and going down here and stuff. Yeah, that's just like, that's just like really whipping in there, you know. So, all right, enough goofing off. Let's say that drawing is pretty good. You know, we don't have to worry too much. Let's not worry too much about it. Let's get into the darkness. So I paint dark to light, basically. I try to get all the darkness in here, get the structure of the painting in. That's all this is. It's going to be a structure of the painting. So even if it feels too dark right now, doesn't mean it's going to end up being dark. So the first color, I'm just going to pretty much go through the colors as I made them. Pretty much. This is a phthalo green and oxide red. This is on the red side. Definitely want to get that in here underneath. That warmth, that darkness will help bring the painting, bring the water forward and bring it right to our face. I'm going to even keep it kind of dark on the red side in this front area here, reflecting down here too, thinking about the reflection a little bit and getting that in here. There you go. Nice and dark. Then go to the green, and I can put that on the sides here a little bit. You can't, I'm just not even wiping out my brush on this stuff because these guys are so close together. All right, I'm going to take that same color though. This is the green. This is phthalo green and cad red or oxide red. And right up here on the top edge, want to put some dark. I want to keep it kind of dark. Definitely want to get my darks in here. And I'm going to be over painting. I'm not going to worry about, little things like, the tail or the drawing of the tail or anything like that. That'll be paint. We'll be painting that in as we go. So, okay, here, get this. I'm going to put a little bit of that in this muzzle here. Maybe on the red side. Definitely on the red side. Right there. We got that. Even under here, we talked about, just getting some of these colors here. I got a lot of burnt sienna already in there and stuff. So I'm just going to bring this. This is phthalo green again, and oxide red going in here. And get that into these areas here too, coming in. They're not like a super major player in that color, but they're in there, and I got it on my brush right now, so I'm gonna get it in there. So I'm just also gonna wipe this color down a little bit, just to bring it down. What I'm doing, just basically running out the color in my brush, so I don't have too many crazy marks. And another thing about painting, I'm painting this at an angle here. I'm pretty much giving you guys a straight on shot, so I'm off to the side and sort of painting. So I always have that in my back of my head, saying like, well, if nothing else, the reason it didn't turn out is because I was painting at an angle. You always got to have, as an artist, have that go-to reason why your painting didn't turn out, because you can't paint your next one with any of that kind of those thoughts in your head. So I always like to keep that in mind on painting. Yeah, I always have a good out, and that way I don't take anything bad into my next painting. But right now, this painting here, this is going to be the best painting I've ever done. Every painting I start at the beginning of it, that's the idea going with it. This is the best painting I've ever done. This is your Mona Lisa. Okay. So the painting's, laid out. Now what I want to do is really decide. I want to make this side warm of this side of the painting. I'm going to keep it on the warm side. This side over here, I'm going to keep it in the cooler sides. So it's going to have more red in it. That's going to have more green in it. So now the next colors I'm going to be using here are phthalo green and cad red. This one definitely has a lot of cat red into it. See, it has a lot of red into it. So I'll be working that into this area coming into the dog. Down. Okay. Gotta remember where the dog was. So I'm working the red on this side, heavier on the red on this side of the painting. And then on the other side, this is phthalo green and it's cad red, but it's more green on this side of the painting. That's more oil in my brush. Grab it again. Load it back in here. Yeah, I'm just getting the darks in. I'm not worried about this being the perfect color yet. I'm trying to get the sense of the painting, the darkness. I want to get the darkness in there first, and then I'll get the color change. Dog hairs. There. See. Dog hairs you're painting already, and they're not even around here. Now, Definitely. So red and green. I'm gonna bring those right down into the water break here too. See where else it goes. Gonna bring it down. That red. This is a again phthalo green, cad red together. See where else it goes in here. Like I said, this stuff here gonna be painted very clean. So like the strokes here, up here, I want my down here are gonna be very, very horizontal and nice. They're gonna blend pretty good together. There's gonna be nice long strokes. Soft. I'll work that. Let's see this orange. This color should go up into his face pretty good. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong here. Didn't do anything wrong. But I didn't. This mark here, I kept going, God, it looks like the nose. But no, that wasn't the nose. That was the side of his mouth. So my head was going, wow, did I miss it really that bad? So that'd be embarrassing in front of all these people to miss your paint. You miss your drawing that bad. But it happens. I'm not too worried about it. The thing is, that's what I love about oils. It's just, yeah, I can miss by a mile and I can still fix it. Okay, let me get that nose in real quick. Still big brush. Pretty much I'm going to that color next anyway. I'll be using my blue and oxide red again. I'm gonna be putting that the blue version, no white. These are just so far. I'm just going through the top layer of colors here. And I'm just gonna lay in that nose a little bigger than it needs to be. Make sure that blue really just covers up. Down right in here should be his mouth. Okay. This red side, now I'll go to the red side. I'm going to put that right on top of this nose. I put the blue in there, but I want to get that red at the top of the shape on top of that blue. And I'm also going to put it in the eyeballs. Yeah. I'm just going to, basically, that's it. That's his eyeball. For now. Yeah, good enough. I'm also going to put this red. This is oxide red and blue. And put those two colors. In the second round part of his mane here, you got that hair from his chin coming down here, making this, this shape, round shape underneath his jaw, right in here. But behind that, you have his chest hairs coming through here. And I want to get those little bit of that red in there, red purple into there. So I'm going to get that there, but I'm going to get a little bit of this blue, the blue part of it too, a little bit more blue on this side right here while looking in here and see about, his mouth, little areas here. I'm just going to pull it down here for a second too with some that color. Just let it come off the brush, see what color is going to come out of it. Basically, it's going to be a blue-gray. Okay, let's go this shadow here. Okay, it goes there. That's his shoulder going right into his ear. And then there's, the shadow of the shoulder. And then back end comes up here. Back over there. Okay. Still haven't lost it. Still know where I'm going. That's the thing about these classes. I know where I'm going with it and stuff, and I'm kind of just trying to tell you where I'm going. I've never painted this photo before, but I can tell. So that really lets me know, lets me tell you exactly what's going on and where I'm going to be painting things like that. The reasoning why I'm painting things. So I'm going to get this warmth over here on the edge here, going in, and think about it here. Again, this is just blue and oxide red make up this warmth for now. Okay. That's okay. I can deal with that. See if there's anything else I can put this color in. You're going to find this red really can pull people back. Usually reds will come forward and things, but in darks, they take you back. They just take you into things. So that's why you like to see them inside nostrils and eyeballs areas. But we don't have to worry about eyeballs today. My classes, I teach a lot like this, how I go about a painting. We do a lot of different types of painting. We're going to be doing landscapes, we're going to be doing winterscapes, cityscape, waterscapes, we're painting animals. We're going to be painting people in areas. It's going to be 8 weeks of it. I do 2 classes a week. I do like this, a Saturday morning class, and then I do a Monday night class. So I get a lot of painting in. Okay, so there you go. There. I'm not going to worry about the dog. Dog's pretty much going to be the. I'm going to go back to the background now that I worked the colors in here. That's a pretty good amount. You know, even at this point, it's almost a block in because of, you know, the lights and stuff like that. There's, you know, basically, I just got to get some more oranges in here. But I'm going to go. Basically, I'm working now towards this color here. It's just that phthalo green and cad orange mix. Hopefully, I'm not even sure if I mixed up enough. How much I'm going to really be using it. But I'm going to be taking it back in here and working it in. Back in here. Sorry, good hair is coming off my brush here. They said it's a cheap brush. Okay, so I'm going to be working this color. This color is pretty much it. This is the color that's going to pretty much pull this background value together. And what I'm going to try and do is do as little as possible and make it work. I want to keep it kind of simple because of the spray that's going to be taking over. So even this color here, basically just going to feed it in here. I don't want to wipe out all that red I put in here. It's not like for mixing. It's really just for this color is just to get in here and change the value, change the overall color, but not get rid of that red, not all the red. And same as on this side. That green that's in here is going to change values and stuff, but I might still have to go make up a brighter yet color too, looking at it. Going, yeah, it didn't do quite as much as I thought it would do, but it did enough. We'll work it up here at the top edge. Might have to come back in. At least that's going to be under a frame, so I don't really worry about it too much. Get in there. Okay, I'll probably have to bring that dark back in one more time down there. And we'll look at it down in here too. This is again phthalo green and cat orange, getting the reflection in here. You know, the reflection is sometimes the reflection is a reflection of the water too. So getting that in this color area, working it in just a little bit, nibbling at it, shapes, kind of what I'm doing is just following the lines of the ripples in the water and just feeling out where those ripples are and you know how big the ripples are here compared to back there. These ones back in here are all a lot tighter than down in here. Still very calm down in here. That's really the nice thing about these paintings is I love doing the calmness of the water with against the craziness of the action. I'll make sure this thing here. Okay, so I'm still working that same color, just that oxide cad red, cad orange, and phthalo green. All right, so we can start getting that stuff in. It's starting to work out. I pretty much have gone through a lot of my second round of colors. Well, no, I started on my. No, I haven't really started my second round of color. That's really the first one. Okay. Now I'm just going to go through a few of these other ones. I can start to see where they go now. This is a phthalo green, oxide red with white at a level and stuff. And it's kind of a blue-gray. Goes right on top of this green. That's why I want to get that green in there. Stuff, and then just get this to come into this one side here. I mean, there's a little triangle here. This little triangle color there comes in and goes over here. Now that I'm using white, if it's something with white in it, you know, the paint is going to change dramatically. At least the way the paint goes on, because you have that viscosity of the white paint just, you know, really starting to can go over some colors. Before it's just like a really thin wash most. Now now you can start building paint up. So that's my cool color. My next color I would put in front of it. This is the blue. Well, it's blue. It's phthalo green and red, oxide red. Well, look, you're going to find that in this area, right in here, in this splash underneath here on the inside of the water, the laying down areas. Okay, not too much more. All right, I'm going to lay that down too behind here. Yeah, that should be on the red side. Should be on the red side over here, keeping with what I was doing before. I think I'm also going to bring it over on this side too. It looks like red at the beginning, and then I'll change it over. Blue in the back a little bit. I say blue, but it's really more green, but it just looks blue. So I'll start making these little spots behind here, getting those guys up, filling in, trying to fill in, and trying to keep some certain areas very clean. This is going to go back in here a little bit. There's not a whole lot more to do in this background, to tell you the truth. There'll be a few more colors, you know, fitting in here. But this is just I think that's, no, that's just the way this is going to go. I want to keep it rough and ready back there. Might add a little more brighter green or, in there, but not too much. Probably could have went darker green here before they go any farther. This green here, it's a green. It's back to phthalo green and alizarin. This color just kind of got wiped out of there. I just did not get it in there really strong. Which is okay. Okay. Let's go down. I'm just going to keep going. I got a little more. I'll go to my next few colors. I'll just go through my phthalo greens and alizarins. They make some nice, really nice blue grays. Too. This is on the alizarin side. Yeah, just a little too dark right here. For these spots. Probably have to I'll lighten them up. And this is one of the things about water too. It's just this is the one area in painting I always say you can use sharper edges. Usually everything's about blending edges out, keeping things distance-wise, clean and workable. But this is where nice hard graphic edge is pretty much what's called for in these paintings. All right, I'm going to look for that blue a few other places too. I don't know if it's going to go too many other places, but at least that value, I think I probably have to mix up that value probably a little bit lighter with a little bit more white into it to get it to this color. That's not too bad though. Afterwards, after I start really laying it in, you start putting the color onto it. You can see it in there. All right, let's go on. The next color. I'm not going to deal with that. All right, this is the green version of it. I see it probably more in up in here. And I'm just going to do some rough and ready strokes up here. Just drawing across here, just feeding things in, just trying to keep this moving down, the stuff down, so I don't have anything too much of a line going across here that is just going to take you off the painting. So I got to, on the sides, bring it back down to keep the painting going down and around. So I'm going to bring this color down around a little bit here and there. It's going to start being like darks in these back areas here. So not going to be a whole lot of these things, but it's just going to be dropped in with the edge of the brush. I'm not going to think too much about it because it's not worth it at this point. Because a lot of this stuff is just going to get wiped out. There's another colors. This color just has to be there. Just doesn't have to be quite as much. Get a few different angles. If you get a lot of straight horizontals going there, make sure you just twist your brush every once in a while. Get some angles. They stand out better. Just like this area, you start getting a little too heavy in the, straight vertical, horizontal, lines. Let's darken this up just a little bit more. Dirty it up, muddy it up. There you go. Just while I'm here, I finally have the color on my brush. Just take care of business. See where else it can go. It's nice dark there. Okay. All right. There we go. That's nice. Now we're almost over halfway done getting through our colors. Let's get over to, let's see. Okay, the next colors would be, these are phthalo green and cat oranges with white. These are a little cooler. This red turned really kind of cool with when you get that green in it, and when you really add the white to it. I'm not really looking for making finished marks yet. I'm really trying to look at building the painting. Trying not to, because I don't want to have to work at round marks. It's getting to that point already where if I put in a mark where I'm thinking where it's going to go, it's going to come pretty close to what might be needed at that one spot. So I'm going to be doing a lot of, bringing this over here and just twisting off my brush wide and bring it through here. Looking at a lot of twists to come through, seeing what it does with these colors here. That's why I was going, this color might really end up doing all this work here in this underneath cooler area here. Looking at these, some of the fur here, the idea of the fur. Nothing wrong with embellishing that fur too, really just letting it go out here and just broadening out this area a little bit. That's cool. That'll work. So sometimes great stroke, you don't want to, I always get in here about getting into your strokes too soon too, because you start loving your strokes and start, after you start not making a couple good ones, you have to work around those strokes. So try not to worry about making a great stroke at this point, because I don't want to have to work around it. Saying, oh, I love that stroke. I don't want to, I don't care. If it's there, it's good. I can remake it. You can always remake it. It's oils. You can remake it. Don't worry about these things. So this is again oxide red. Wait, that's phthalo green and cad red here going in. Just figuring out a few spots here. Seeing how it's going to react. I think right in here it's going to be. I think I can get it right in here. Yeah, even with that splash, I think it goes in there. Before I go any farther, I got to lighten up this blue. I need to get this blue back in here, because if I get it right, I think it's going to happen. What's going to happen? I'd like to have this ready to go. So this color is just basically phthalo green and alizarin, and I just taking it up to the right value here. So it's just bringing up a little bit more white into it. I'm going to bring in a little more alizarin into that color. That's one of the colors I did not take up value-wise. Still use my big brush. Still doing some great things. You can see it just fills this thing up pretty nicely. So again, if you need to talk to me, ask a question, go ahead. As you can see, I'm going to bring this in. This is that purple. Just need it in these areas here. I think I can lighten up this whole area with it too. As you can see, it's a very light stroke of color I'm putting over here.
Jim,
Yeah.
is there
Hi.
a way to? Hi, how are you?
In a while.
Is there a?
Happy New Year.
Yeah. I got my water dog's calendar right next to me, trying to look at this.
Oh, that one.
The front.
Yeah. Thanks.
But anyway, I wanted to ask, is there a way to show what you're dipping into before it goes onto your palette, onto your painting? Is there a way to show your palette while we're painting?
Let me see. You know, you guys have probably seen my back enough. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah.
Because as a novice, I don't always know all the, oh, perfect. I don't always know all the names of the colors.
You're not
But then
a
if I can-
novice. You're not.
Well, if I can see it, then I feel more confident.
Well, I can leave it like this for a while. I mean, basically now, and then I'll
Thank
switch it.
you.
I'll switch it back over at the end, so you can see it. Usually
Excellent.
in my videos, this is also like would be like a second recording, which would be on with a group of everybody. Here I'd have my palette spotlighted into the video. I usually do that. But
That helps me a lot. So thank you.
does
I don't
it?
know. Everybody else is probably laughing, but
They're laughing with you, okay, though?
we hope so.
No, that's all you can do is hope. That's it. I'm laughing with you. Anyway, happy
Thank you. Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
Happy New Year. See, I figured it out finally. Good. So yeah, this color right here is just phthalo green and alizarin and white, taken up a little bit higher in value than I initially made it on the canvas. The blue one should go a little bit too. Do the same thing. I should have taken these colors probably up, but a lot of times with these videos or the classes, you know, I don't want to spend all day mixing paint. So I do have to, just kind of shift off a few colors as I go. I don't do every color, but I try to let you know if I'm changing colors. So this one just is on basically alizarin and blue, phthalo green, but this is on the phthalo green side. And I'm just looking at getting a few of these marks in over here where they go, getting a little bit of coolness in every once, because it is a huge mass, and it is, like I said, this side was on the red, that side's supposed to be on the green. I'm just going to trying to bring out a few things. Okay. All right. So basically, that's pretty good right now. I can work the dog. I'm going to work the dog for the next like half hour, and that should fill in this whole area here, and then I'll get the splashes. The ball itself, we'll get in 2 minutes at the end. It's not like a big keeper. It's not like anything I really worry about. So, yeah, I don't worry too much either. I'm not a big worrier. But these darks in here, these little areas like this, and then in the nose and stuff, I want to keep those guys that value that they are right now. So whatever I put in there, I don't want to lighten up that area too much. I want to keep that shadow strong. So I'm going to switch brushes to a bristle brush. And that is a big key in painting. Get the right brush. Knowing when to switch brushes, what the brushes will do. I go over that all the time. So let's get in here. I'm going to start building this guy really quickly. Get some of this red. This is phthalo green and cad red again. I'm going to get that. I see that right in here, right in this deck. That area here coming into this area and down. One of the things about painting, put the painting in like you mean it. The paint in like you mean it. you got to put it in, when you get to this point, put it in forcefully, not playing around. You just, get that energy. I mean, there's energy going on in this dog, and you got to match that energy in your paint. Not going to worry too much about the tail movement things back in here, back hips. A lot of hair on these guys. A lot of hair. I'm going to try and get that orange. Start getting some of this orange going in here too. Was that alizarin crimson and cad yellow.
Hello.
No.
I have a question.
Hello.
Hi, this is Summer.
Summer, how are you doing?
Oh, Ohio is doing great. We have a room full of friends here painting along.
Really? Cool. How are you doing?
Just great. We have an issue though with our Zoom here is now all we can see is your palette and we cannot see you at all. I don't know if anybody else is having this trouble. So we can't see what we can see what you're painting, but it's super, super small. And then the palette is huge. If there's any way that we can reverse that.
Yeah, somebody, I blame, it's really simple. That's what you got to do.
Is that
That's
okay?
the way I usually, the other one, that's the only way I can show the palette at all in Zoom. So that's why, and somebody wanted to see the palette a little bit.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Yeah.
It is your fault. Karen's fault.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No, blame Karen. No problem.
And I think that seeing the palette was a very good idea, and maybe if you switched it on occasion to remind colors would be great. But yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't get the screen to do what you have now. This is perfect. Thank you. And sorry, Karen.
Oh, that's okay.
It's no problem. That kind of stuff it's just, you just ask anytime, and it's I can do it. It's no big deal.
Thank you. And when we do this, we're going to print out our own reference too, so that we'll have a reference. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
I'll mute myself now.
I tell you,
I'm gone.
That's you've been gone a long time. You've been gone. Anyway. Hey.
Before you did that original switch, your palette was actually at the top in one of the view screens to see for me. But I don't know if anyone else was seeing that. It's not there now, but before you did the double.
Yeah. So that was working for you?
Well, no, the palette was actually in one of the small boxes, just like one of the people would be.
Oh, down here? And no, so now it's gone, right? I think you can go through there and figure and go through the small screens and set it up too. You'll find it down there and bring it back up. So you can try that. That's a good way. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway.
Hi, Jim. This is
painting.
Yeah, mine were side by side. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I'm painting with orange. I'm trying to figure out. This is alizarin crimson and cad red. Or cad, no, that's not cad red. Alizarin crimson, cad yellow. And that's what I'm going to do is go in here and figure out all these areas here. A lot of these colors on the side of his face and around his eyes have that color in it. So I want to make sure I get these little areas in there. And, talk about that ear of his up here, getting that's the color in there. And, it can be a lot of these colors off to the sides here from above his eye here, coming down and around. This is that kind of stuff. Just try to get everything I can done with this color. Now, especially on the shadow sides. Got some nice darks already going. Don't want to just wipe those out. So it's also with this bristle brush, really just a soft stroke like that. Let some of that paint underneath come through. Don't wipe out all that color back there. Just we're not late. We are layering colors, but we're doing it gently. And we want this stuff to, glow through. And it only glows through if it's there. If you push too hard, you push the paint away. You want to push the paint away, but you don't want to blend too much. I say push the paint away and lay in the new color. So now I get that in. That's going in pretty well. All right. Just trying not to get too far ahead. I'm trying to figure out everywhere else this color can go. A lot of that, even that undercoating of that burnt sienna was a pretty good, worked out pretty well on this thing. That color really laid in here, and you can go at any time. I can go, well, that's pretty doggone close to what I need. Doggone, you see that? I got a million of those. I get a doggone all the time. Anyway, so I'm going to lay in a few more things in the back before I get any darks. And you're not going to work towards the darks too heavily. To the lights. Sorry, reverse that. I just got to get find out those last few spots here. Probably just a touch more cad red in that color. That cad red and green. A little more reds in here too. Kind of wiped out did what I told myself, everybody, not to do. This is just a little bit of cad red added to that, back to that phthalo green and cad red together. Really, I'm just going back to that color a little bit. It's really heavy in the cad red area, but just found a few spots here I wanted to lay in one more time. Trying to thinking about building fur, you got to have this red underneath it before I go to the lighter colors. Okay, let's think about that tail a little bit back in here. This is where I got my nice little paint eraser, where I'm going to put that in. Just these highlights of where that's going to go. Sometimes use this, you want to just draw it out a little bit more. Okay. There's that light in here. I could pull this out, just reflect my drawing a little bit more better. And the highlights go down in here. I'm not going to worry about those. That stuff's good, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have to do this. But this
James,
is where
what is the name of that tool?
It is a paint eraser.
Say that again.
A paint eraser.
Oh, paint eraser. Okay. Huh. Thank you.
Yeah, they're very hard to find. If you got a dollar store around you, you can find it.
Huh.
You go for it. This basically is a spatula, plastic spatula, rubber spatula. And you go to the dollar store, and I just take scissors and trim off the spatula ends to areas I need. And it pulls, when you're working wet into wet like this, you could, it's great for pulling off things like this.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you can get some nice little fluid feels to it. So that's what that is. And it's great for one of the things of going into darks you know, just because you put in your darks and then you got to put a light over it. Sometimes the color, you can never get that light back, the light into it nice and cleanly. Sometimes just removing that dark a little bit in spots, let the paint, the light paint grab on before it goes in. It just saves you a little effort. And I do that a lot. I try to save my effort. There's enough things to worry about. All right, I'm just gonna go in, work the side of his faces here now, trying to get these lighter areas, colors coming in. That's where we are. This, so I'm gonna be working with in this area right here on this back side here, making that, trying to make this shadow pop, you know, this shadow here area pop. So working down in here, coming down and drawing things out. And again, bristle brush. That's all the work. All you got to do is follow the fur. You follow the fur lines, you're done. And that's all I'm going to do. And then, yeah, get it back in here to the tail. And you're done. Now it just goes pretty quick at this point, last point here. I'm going to bring this color in, just work this color wherever I think I see it goes. I can. The nice thing about this guy in painting dogs, for me, I don't have to be perfect. The strokes, like if you're painting a person, you know, I can get away with a, you know, stroke being more, having more power to it than, you know, worrying about it not being exact, looking like the person, you know, or not being exact. So, all right. Yeah, got to get back here to this face here a little bit. And I forgot to get a few darks in here around the eyes. Just nibble at them a little bit. That's all. It's all nibbling. Kind of lost all my oranges. I might have to mix up a couple of oranges here too again, because it looks like I ran out. Get that. And that one, that area there went a little bit, little light. I just kind of feel like this area here went a little light. I'm gonna push it back into some green, a little more red to it. It's like a little bit red into it too, a little bit. In this area here. Get that going, and I'll shift it around one more time. Then I'm gonna, right now I'm just working these greens into these under shadow areas here one more time. I feel like right in here, just there's a couple little cross line strokes that, you know, you see that purple coming shooting through, and I'm going to put it like putting this green over top of it, you know, with the brush stroke opened up and just going through here. That'll work. And start, a lot of things just starting to turn. Everything is going to start going up at an angle now. Going to start turning and turning and turn that fur and turn everything. Getting that same motion going. All right. Okay. As you see, I haven't worked on the nose. I have not worried about the nose at all. You know, those things will come at the end. It's just, you know, where things go little by little, work your ways. What's on my brush? Instead of wiping out my brush constantly, it's like, anyway. One more shot with the lights. This light here, this is just ochre and white. Ochre and white right here. Not even that light, you know, just a little bit of light coming in. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna start building around his face a little bit. Again, I'm not gonna try and just I gotta mix up a little bit of paint here. Alizarin and yellow mix. I'm gonna make sure I have a little bit of more on the red side too. Some of these things are really rich, like when you start to get into, you know, these little areas here, just pulling that even could use more alizarin in it. Alizarin and yellow. Yeah, trying to get that. This is that ear going up over here. Just trying to get some real paint in there sometimes. Too soon, don't need that much right in there, just a little bit of that. Bringing it back around these darks, around his eyeballs. Coming in again to here. Okay. So what's on my brush, go around here, should be polluted enough color-wise to fit into little areas there. Definitely, I think I could get some more red in the shadow area here, coming down. Right in here, get a little redness coming down. Okay, as you can see, yeah, not too worried about the splashes, but we're gonna get to them. So let's finish up this face quickly. I'm just talking to myself, not really talking to you guys. I'm really telling myself, we gotta get moving, gotta move. He's got dogs, not gonna paint himself. I'm just gonna go through my lighter versions now. It's just a lot of times I just want to build the colors, so I got to get these colors in underneath and stuff before you know, put the frosting on top. You got to have all these things in there, and that's what that area was right here. Even darkening in areas that are going to go lighter, making sure that there's some lightness to them. All right, let's go. Here's some light. I don't think this goes here. I think it goes back in here though. So I'm going to squish this in. That was close. That was really close. A lot better, I thought. This is that one area there. Yeah. I will probably have to work on this area here and make sure that it reads as an ear. A little bit better than it does in the photo. Photos get away with a lot of stuff that we won't. You know, you can look at it and it's believable in a photo, but you know, we're always going to be fighting that. So again, these are the lighter versions. colors. These are the ones where I taken them down to like number 2s, 3s. Gonna be bringing in that light. In back in here even. Okay. A little bit too much. Okay. This is where the fun comes in. This is where you get to spin your brush and have some really try to go for unique looks. Doesn't have to, you don't have to match that. But you can use it as a starting point, you know, and let the brush do its work. If you let the brush do its work, you don't hold on to it too tight, it'll do all the work. It'll make a nice mark for you just by spinning it. So yeah, I'm going through my lighter colors right now. Just a little bit too light here and there, but it's all right. All right. Now I get into this ear stuff here. Put a little more. This is cad yellow and white. Probably some of my brightest color. You know, and that's good for this area, the ears. Really come in handy for this. And as you can see, I'm using a brush that is too big for the job. Way too big for the job. So I have to twist it. I have to do all these things to get it into the right position. And that's what makes your marks interesting. It's because you have to work the brush. You really have to take this brush and twist it and turn it and make it fit a space. Okay, just a little light on this back nose here. Probably don't have that color exactly I want. I think it's going to be too bright. This is going to be too bright. Too bad. Second time touch should be better. From that can see else where it can go. You can start to see where it, you know, how things go. You got this color here. You know, it looks for me. It looks even on my palette. It looks like it could be, you know, pink. But I put it up here. It turns blue. I don't know. It just happens. It's just there's a magic that happens between the palette and the painting. I don't know. No, it's just a color relation thing. But it's always interesting. Okay, so he's, you know, working. He's starting to work. You know, it's still, you know, he's always going to have a little bit of, you know, work to do around here and in the eyes. There's definitely going to have some work to do. But time to start getting into the rest of the painting. Just make sure, you know, everything gets worked the same. You know, yeah, he's going to get a lot more love yet. But we need to keep these things going a little bit. I'm missing this one spot right here. That's a good spot too. That's what I made a paint for. Get it in right. Even here, it's still cheekbone. Didn't work for that. Okay. Switching off to a synthetic. Grab a good synthetic. I'm gonna go with a synthetic to make a few of these. Start making a few of these things. A lot of times it's synthetic will. I can get those, really draw out those like little skinny little hairs and stuff a little bit better. And sometimes they need to be, cleaner. That's the thing, is building a dog. When you build a dog, you just you got to use a couple brushes on them. Now I gotta lighten up that front end right here. This muzzle here. I gotta get this area right in here. It goes up around. Gotta brighten that up a little bit lighter yet. I'm gonna put a little blue into it. And then hit it with some yellow right on the front edge. Bring it forward. Okay, where are we? Really need that one stroke here. See, I'm not color-wise at this point when you're going this fast. Yeah, it's a little hard to say exactly what color I'm painting. So if I do go too fast, just shout out and I'll try to remember what I just did and reasonings of it. I'm gonna put the little brown tips on this back edge here. Stuff like that. That will really help out. Probably go a little orangier. Find little spots here. All right, splashes. We're getting close to the splash time. Splash down. I'm gonna put a little more cad yellow in this now. And I get these few little bright touches of fur out there on the outside here. So I just really need to kind of almost push the yellow with like the alizarin crimson right there and there. Yeah, and this is where the synthetic just starts to take over. It will take over. So you have to, like everybody wants to know, when do you stop? When is it done? When do you? So, boy, you try to stop before you make that last stroke. When you say, "Oh, one more stroke," you should stop. That's usually like the time that says, that's not your last stroke. That's the stroke where you're gonna go over the limit. So I'm just gonna try and bring these last few little things in here, shooting up a little bit. You got to get that inside the ear right here. I didn't get that spot. Pop that out. Okay, good movement. Get a couple. I'm gonna start working the fur and then work the fur right into the water. So I'm going to start these little areas here on this outside of his, and you're going to start getting those guys in. Look for the cooler fur colors I got here. These will probably be the phthalo green and cad red mixed with white colors right down in here. That's really pretty good. Might be cooling off a little bit more, but I'm just going to go with these for now. I want a good strong edge to show light and stuff. So I'm going to know that where I put this brush down and twist it off, I want to follow that light going up and around. So breaking that fur, where that fur comes in, just follows the light. And this color just can do a lot of damage in the last, to finish this painting. Gonna get it in here. Okay, I'm gonna take and do nice big strokes here. Like I said, putting it in like you mean it. Okay. That's about getting there. Might look to cool it off a few spots. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my big bristle. I'm gonna have to clean it now. Yuck, I don't want to clean it. It's gonna take too long to clean. I'll go with this one. That's it. Takes too long to clean. I don't want to do it right now. I need a big brush. So I'll use this one. It's kind of a goofy brush. I'm gonna lighten up. You know that phthalo green and alizarin mix we did at top, and we had white to it. I'm gonna make those two guys just add a little bit more white to them. Just a little bit of white, but I'm not gonna mix it perfectly. You know, so I get a little bit of white showing through. I get a little bit mixed. Here, I'll show you the can. I'll show you that one. What I just did. That's because it's gonna help out with this water here when we get there. Yeah, right here when I did the mix, I didn't do a thorough mixing like I usually do on the rest of them. I'm leaving a lot of just white on top and blue. And so when I grab the color, I'm going to get a few different colors in there. I even got some orange in there. So that's what I was thinking about doing. All right, back to the paint. All right. I want to work on this spot right here. This is the spot I want to look at. That's the big key thing. So I'm going to make sure I just got a touch of oil on my brush. I'm barely touching oil when I grab that paint. Oh, yes. Yeah, I did get a lot of you got a little yellow in there. All right. I am just looking at I need the strength of the color at this end. So that's where I'm going to start the stroke, and I got to end right down in here. So I want to take it, twist it back, twist down, and end right in here. I can do the blue the same way, just a touch of oil, just a little bit of grab of paint. Now this color doesn't look like it just went right on top of it, but on the top, I meant by the vertical. I'm just going to spin my brush around a little bit. All right. It's getting there. Time-wise, we still got a half hour. So that's pretty good. Now, before I go and put in a lot of, strokes, a lot of dud, a lot of, I'll be just going to, right now, it's not a finished. It still has a lot of stuff down in here to put in. Let me see if I can start putting in some of this stuff here. Reflections coming down, his leg probably coming down right in here, about this area here. Yeah. I'm just going to go. Now I can just start building out these. Lightness into this purple here with a little bit of this is a color here is was orange and phthalo green. And then this is the color I'm using here. It just has a little bit of white to it. This is the color with the phthalo green. This is the phthalo green and orange. Mixed up just a little bit more orange now. And I can get this stuff here. Just see these strokes. I just look at these things. I just see the stroke. What needs, how to put the stroke in, and just follow it. So it tells me to take the brush, go down this way, turn, take a left, you know, at the mailbox, come on back, and you should be pretty doggone close. And that's it. You know, that's the good thing about this kind of this painting. We just got to get close. Being perfect, yeah, well, yeah, that perfect doesn't work in this painting, because this painting has energy, and you can't paint, you know, to paint this thing without painting with energy, by painting it super realistic, you're going to end up you know, it's just going to sit there most part. Prove me wrong, though. That's the thing. Prove me wrong. That's fine. Okay. Everything's coming along. This color here, back in here, definitely could go a little more apple green into it. I do have some of that. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to put it in. I don't know. It's just like, okay. Subtle things in here, just the things I see in the shadow here. Right in here, you can just see the tip of his nose at the bottom here of the painting. So, reflected in here. And so everything just got to be soft down in here. These things got to kind of go together in a swirly kind of motion, swirly motion. Get some green in there. I did not have any green in there. So I guess I do have to put some green in here. I got to put in that ball anyway. So this is just using a little bit of the ball color into these outside areas here. Just, yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to start putting that ball in. Okay, I'm gonna go back with a bristle brush, small one. Put that red in. Put it in with the alizarin, and again, and size wise, you know, I want it here. I don't want it too close to the edge. You know, I just want it up near the top of that wave. Just break it down into simple shapes at the beginning here. Clean out my brush. Get that red out of there a little bit. That's always tough to get out. Touch of oil again. Grab my green. And get that in there. Okay. Push it back in. Get it in the water a little bit. Get that green now on here. I can use it up, and I have the right to use it. So it's, I don't know, it's just those little things, and you know, it's meant for this spot. It cannot be moved anywhere else. Till, you know, little goofy things like that go through my head. Like, oh, yeah, we're really, and I just make sure I have the paint for that. That's what it was meant for. Yeah. Okay. All right, so starting to come maybe now. Yeah, let me see about putting a few of those stroke that apple green, like I said back in here, the bristle brush before we just start to, you know, get into the last few little things of this painting. You know, using this outside color probably to, you know, do some of this final little pushing around things, like if you want to change a shape in that fur and stuff like that, it's a good time to do it. Just trying to get that apple green just on that one side over here a little bit. You know, I got all the colors there. It's just pushing it in a little bit stronger right in here will help separate out that purple from that blue too. Well, doesn't go in, try a little oil, grab it again. Don't have much colored paint left. Made so little of that. Didn't do it. Hardly did anything. See, I'm just looking for little spots I might see it in these areas, you know, and just running through it. I don't have hardly any oil on my brush, any paint on my brush. Basically, I'm just, but there's just like just a hair of green to it. So I'm just going kind of, you know, all right, this is it. Gotta go in here. All right. Right in there, that push these guys together a little bit. Okay. Yeah, a lot of little sparkles to put in. All right. I got my lighter colors here, and that's pretty much meant to do a lot of this stuff. Before I do that, though, before I go in and put in paint, I'm going to take off paint. And I'm going to go through, because this, if you take it off with one of these guys and put in the dots stuff, you're going to get a lot of different colors. You're going to get a staining of the canvas behind there showing through, which is sometimes a better effect than putting paint on. So that's what I'm looking at right now. It's going like, okay, can I take paint off and put it in the right spot here? I mean, put it in like that. Instead of putting in every dot, I'll try to put in groups of threes, and that'll be it. I'm not gonna do a ton of these either, because this even it'll take all day, you know, to put in all these strokes, all the stuff that's going in here. That's just what happens. It just, you know, you gotta put them in. I like to say, like, you're like giving out $5 bills. You got to put them in with that kind of thought in mind. Like, how many $5 bills do I have in my pocket? How many do I want to really give out? You know, so it's like, okay, I'm going to really, you know, you got to really mark down the ones that are going to do something. You know, all the little teeny sprays aren't going to do much, but the ones right in here, you know, in this area here, do a lot more thinking than everything else, because they create a space. They create layers of space between the water and the air and the dog. So these guys are important, but also spacing is, you don't want to, even if it says they are equally spaced, you equal space them, it will look like you equal spaced and you made space. So you got to put a couple together and then spread them out. Oh, okay, that's enough, you know, enough of that. And I'm just going to keep marking a few of these guys. That's my thinking on that. I'm just going to create that rhythm going around here. And one of the things I did see when I was kind of looking at this a little harder earlier is the rhythm of these sprays coming out. But they come out in like 3s and 4s. And I say 3, I mean 3 little dots and then 1 big one. 3 little dots to shooting off, 1 big one. And this is basically, I'm just going to go around it and just go around like this. I'm not going to go splat, right? You're going to work it going around this way of the painting and just keep going, get that rotation, because you want that thing to just keep turning. And it will pretty much make all of them be in the right spot. How are we doing time-wise? We still got 10 minutes. So I'll put in a few more of these and I'll put in a few paint ones. But this is how I do it, going down here. Not trying to make perfect ones. But down in here is really important. This one little area here, the splash. Getting those highlights just in the right spots. And you're going to find out it's always less is more when you put these guys in. You're not going to see you don't see hardly any in this area. You're only going to see them in this area pretty much. 1 or 2 down here just to break up, the monotony of everything, because a lot of times it's just a dot in these areas here. Finish it off that whole space. Okay. Last little things. We're on. Back to I only have a little bit of my really high key colors. High key whites, blues, yellows, pinks. And yeah, those guys are going to go in these little areas here. Cooler areas. I'm going to put these in on my knife. This is that blue and white one we made up. And just let the knife do a little bit of the work. Just I want to get a little more pinks in here. Now, if I do want paint, that's the difference. Here, let me do it again. Putting paint on, taking paint off, the brightness. So now I can go back in and load up little areas that I want to really make work. I mean, brighter, like maybe a few, especially little spots, I would say, in here, like little spots like that. And maybe putting over that. Switching off between yellows and whites. Really trying to just pick up those color combinations of what's happening. Usually the ones up here are going to have a little more yellow in them. Anything down in here probably will have a little more pink in them. Every once in a while you find one little dot of, yes, get it in there. White, yellow, white in these areas. Nose, oh, definitely didn't do anything with his nose. And teeth and mouth. Definitely we'll go to a smaller brush and get that one more shot. It really didn't do anything with these guys, but basically just I'll work the outsides. There'll be a little bit more work to do on these guys. This is again just blue and oxide red with white, little white going on top of the non-white ones. And just numb out the face a little bit. Get that smile. Push that edge up in the back edge. That's that they call it the golden smile. Don't have much to do on the eyes. That's a nice thing. That's one of the things. Usually takes the longest on these things is the eyes and the nose. The good thing about this one is that you didn't have to deal with those things. Really, they're just shapes. They're normal shapes anyway, but we don't have too much more to do there. Now it's just going back around, finding the colors I missed that could come through here. Faces, a little more height, maybe a little more brightness here and there, but most of the damage on this one has been done. I think I'll give it a little more red. In this ear here, right around the edges, just to try to help appease Shar there, who asked about the ear. And then this thing here, this little red here dabbed in a little bit. Probably could go a little darker yet. But now we got pretty much everything there. Wow, so always the things is just building up. Okay, yeah. Really build up that fur one more shot. You'll be going through that. And that will just help solidify everything. Yeah. So that's what we do with my paint classes. And now next thing we do, I'll bring you in for a close-up so you can sort of see it. That's you can start to see the face going through there, the tail. Like I said, no love to the ball yet. That will come. And the same with the spray. The spray will take a little bit longer to put in, and so but that's how we'll be putting it in those groups, putting it in. It's going to take a little bit more, but the thing is it's where it gets to be. You got to judge how much spray you want. A lot of times that stuff just doesn't do anything. It doesn't need to be too big. You get the idea. As long as you have a couple decent sized ones, good marks in there, it'll take care of it. All right.
It is absolutely stunning.
Oh,
Thanks, James.
thanks, Monica.
Thank you. Very nice.
Does anybody want to show?
Happy New Year. This was great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
But we have a bunch of chickens out there. Anybody want to show what they did?
I'll show you.
I will.
Oh, there's Shar. Let's get Shar, and we got Shar's good. Shar will.
Yeah, but I always have problems with my camera not showing it very well. But
I know you work in a dungeon. That's why.
yeah, my dog needs some work, but okay. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Go to somebody else and let me change my light.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll show you. Here it is.
Which you got to give me your name.
It's Kim.
Oh, Kim. Hey, Kim.
Can you see it?
I'm just got to find your name. Wow.
Kim. There you go.
Kim. Huh? Kim. Way to go. That is gorgeous. What a Afghan you painted.
That's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
Really fabulous brush
Beautiful.
strokes, Kim. Real beautiful twists. That is some gorgeous stuff going on above that head.
Good job.
Really great job on that face. I mean, that is really something. Even your colors are excellent so far. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, do whatever you want with the ball. If you might not even need the ball in yours.
He's there, but he's just not. There's too much paint down there, so that green yellow is fading into the water. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of having that same little problem, so I didn't deal with it.
I
But
figure
you have some beautiful strokes going on that back edge of him. Really, that's gorgeous stuff.
Thank you.
Real nice. I love the spray too.
This is what happened.
You don't have to do too much more there either.
No, I don't think I'm going.
At least at the bottom and stuff, you don't lose those big strokes you got there, because those things are really hold the dog down into the water really beautifully. Yeah, soften up the stuff underneath a little bit more, and but the colors are gorgeous, man. That's gonna be nice. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, back to shore.
Okay, is that better?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
There.
It is.
There.
There you go. Right job. Nice job. You can see half the battle on this thing is getting the energy in there, and that you have to do that with these strokes. You just gotta really take a chance and just pull those suckers out like you did. Real nice. I love that that one stroke at the bottom too, that big yellow one. Even though it's a glare and it's off the side off of him, it almost felt like it almost feels like it could have been his foot, the way coming down translucent, pushed in there. But I mean, I love the way it's going in there. That one stroke also on his shoulder coming down into the water, that thing just really holds, really creates his whole body. Yeah. Watch, now what did you do with your whites yet? You haven't put those all the way in, have you?
A few in the tail, yeah, but I still need to, I still need the detail, the last few things and stuff.
Okay.
And that splash, I need to work on my splashes a little bit.
Yeah. And that's just rotating that brush and you'll get it in there beautifully. Really nice. Good job. Yeah. The thing that will pull this all together is also that the spray is going to pull this up, pull it all together.
Yeah.
Great job.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Can I show mine?
Who's this? You got? Who wants to show? Karen?
I'll do it, but you won't like it.
Yeah, just call out your name and I'll pull you up.
Summer.
Summer wants to go.
So we have a room full of novices, and we wanted to make you all feel really good and talented by showing you our dogs.
Oh, now, did you guys drink any wine with this? You guys had to drink a lot of wine already. It must be really like midnight there. No, let me see let me see them one at a time then. Let me see what kind of dogs you guys painted.
All right.
Summer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got him going really well. I love the water underneath.
Okay.
Great job.
I struggled right here.
Half that stuff is just putting it in and leaving it alone.
Yeah.
That's if you work it too much, you'll end up making mud. That's beautiful. That has some really good strokes to it. You guys are novices?
Yeah, first time ever for me.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
I think
you guys got a great teacher.
I think a majority of these, I think everybody has never touched oil painting
Really?
before.
Yeah.
First time
Oh,
oil for almost everybody.
That's a big studio you got there. You got everybody painting in that. That's beautiful, Summer. Well, great job, Summer. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and thank you for this
joining
course.
in.
I look forward to following you some more. This was you can thank Instagram for this audience.
Okay. Well, it's great to see everybody. Thank you.
Excellent.
Karen, let's see you real quick.
I'm doing it.
Okay, Karen's
I'm doing
showing. Oh,
it.
Colorado Karen. Oh, Karen. Ooh, Karen.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, you can't, it's like distorting it. His mouth looks green, but it isn't.
Oh, that does make a difference. I don't, the color does not make a difference. It all works. I don't care if it's green. Green is cool. I love putting color, having weird colors in the
I
fur.
loved this.
That's impressionistic, and it just naturally works. Fabulous shot there. Really
It's just fun.
Really good energy in that twirl. Fabulous, Karen. Thank you. Glad to see you painting again.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to show real quick?
I will. I'll take the risk.
That's
This
Sue?
is Sue. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Sue.
So I'm gonna hold my laptop up to it because I don't know how else to do that.
That's good. Yep, that's pretty much how we do it.
Can you see
Wow.
it?
Down a little, tone it down, turn it down a little. We got the top of your painting. There we go. Wow. You see, you got the essence of that dog really well quickly. You can tell that the nose and that shadow underneath going into the water, real good stuff. That you got some beautiful colors, translucencies happening at the bottom too, in the bottom section already. When you get that wave, that little that splash going through at the bottom, I mean, just to separate the chaos from the bottom to the quietness. God, wow, that's made gorgeous. I even like the way you pulled off some of the paint. That's some really good marks. And that's what half painting is it's all about marks. Great job, Sue.
Hey, thanks. It was a good.
Thank you.
I like the ears on yours.
Yeah, I liked it too. Anyway, anybody else? Real
I don't know
quick.
if you can hear
I'll
me.
have a go.
Which one?
I'm John Quill
Joan?
from the
Okay.
UK.
Hey, Joan.
No, John Quill.
Okay, how you doing? Joan Quill. Joan
Right.
Quill. Sorry,
Thank
sorry,
you.
don't hit me. Don't hit me. No worries.
No, it's all right. Oh gosh, it's very difficult to get the camera and the colors.
It is, isn't it? You can also, just put them up on Facebook or throw them up on. I'll put mine up on Instagram, and you guys just throw them on underneath. Wow,
yeah,
your dog!
okay.
But your dog looks gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, that fur, that twist. See, now you guys have thrown down the gauntlet on me too a little bit here. So I'm gonna have to do a lot more work to doing this. He's gorgeous. That fur, that twist of fur is a lot of fun. And I love the way you have the water coming off it, that twist at the top and then bottom. That's beautiful. Nice mark making.
Thank you.
Really
I had a lot of fun. I really did. Thank you so much.
Well, that's the whole thing about this painting and stuff. It's supposed to be fun. It's not, I don't paint for aggravation or anything. I paint because I enjoy it. And I enjoy it because I like making marks. I like making, colors twist and turn and do what I want. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Anybody else one time?
Hi, this is Tracy. I don't know if you can hear me.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. I struggled with the dog a little bit, I feel like.
He's good.
You got the essence of a dog though really well. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to get. I think it's basically lighting him. You're probably gonna have to hit the top parts of him a little bit stronger yet.
Lighten it. More lighter lights.
Yeah. You're getting there. But the one thing is, you can't lose the structure of the painting. You can't lose the yellows or the white, the darker reds and stuff too much either. So it's always just going to be a little push and pull. Really, some great strokes. I love your the tail strokes look really good back there. The water's coming in pretty fine too. I think that's going to be really interesting the way you're putting it in.
Thank you.
You know, and the nice thing about this one too is being a dog. Beautiful job. Love it.
Thanks. Thank you for sharing.
It's not, it's you know, you're the structure of the dog. You want to keep a little bit of the shadows and the jowls and the face coming forward a little bit. You're gonna gotta feel that motion, that twirl. I love that twirl just coming off, twisting around and around. You know, think about that with the water going all the way around and around. That's gonna make the pain. That is just, you know, it's nice to see. Nice to see some people really being able to keep up with me too, because I'm going pretty fast here. You know, we've been only painting for two and a half hours. I mean, really painting for an hour and a half, and got a long ways done. There's a lot of weight, some more ways to go. Otherwise, so this is a free class. This is what my classes are like. I pretty much this is my class. I didn't really hold anything back from you too much. Did I, or did I? Maybe I did.
Thank you, James, for being so generous. I mean, it's amazing that you did this and opened it up to so many. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. But I teach like this all the time. Yeah. So come on, you can sign up. I have my classes start in a couple weeks. If anybody wants to sign up for it, back there right on my webpage. And I'll be teaching. I teach a lot of workshops around the country and in Europe. But those are more plein air. I mean, in Europe it's plein air, but a lot of time in the US I'll be doing a lot of animal portraits and stuff coming up. So thanks again for joining me, guys. I really appreciate showing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, James, for your generosity and lessons.
No worries.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy New
New
Year.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Woo-hoo.
See you next year.
All right. Take her easy. I'll see y'all on Instagram and Facebook.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Love you.